Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Stephen here with Keller Williams, the Paternack Real Estate team, and welcome back to another episode of Mortgage Matters. I'm going to get started by myself today. Christian will be joining me very, very shortly, but I kind of wanted to just get started so that way we didn't delay for the people that are watching at 12 o'clock as we promised. So today, what I'd like to start off talking about is the importance of understanding your financing. So uh, I had a conversation with a client this week, and that client was telling me, "Look, Stephen, I want to buy something, but I just don't even. It's so far out of the realm of happening within the next year or so." That I don't even really want to wrap my head around it. And I use the analogy of going on vacation. And if you're planning a vacation, you're probably going to start looking, I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe even up to a year ahead of time. And you're doing that because you have to make sure that you take the time off work. You have to make sure that you have all of the funds available, and you have to make sure that you are ready to spend, if you're dealing with a family of, 4 or 5 people, upwards of $10,000, $15,000 on this vacation. And we're talking about buying a house. And we're talking about making probably the largest um, financial decision of your life to date. And we're talking about something that takes some people years to prepare for. And, we've talked so many times about what has to be done or what you have to do to get ready to buy a house. And, we've talked about credit impact, we've talked about income impact, and we've talked about down payments. So those are your three major sort of hurdles that you need to get over and get in line prior to you purchasing a home. So think about it from this perspective, and you're sitting there and you're looking at a credit score in the 500s, let's just say. And we've talked numerous times about how you need to have a minimum, I believe it was a 620, 630 credit score to qualify. So you're looking at a credit score five in the fives, and you're saying to yourself, what the heck is going on? You've got multiple late payments, you've got high balances, and that's what's dragging your score down. Well, if you don't know what is dragging your score down, then that's where you start, right? You speak to somebody, whether it's myself or you could speak to my co-host Christian, and let's run your credit and see what's going on there. Let's just start there, right? And you learn that what's dragging your credit down is these high balances and these late payments. Now, there is two things that I would recommend in this situation. The first is write down all of your balances. Write them down on an Excel sheet, write it down on a piece of paper, put it on a whiteboard, whatever you want to do, write these balances down. Let's just say you've got, I don't know, 20K worth of balances, and they're just sitting there, and your balance to limit ratio, which means that basically you only have about 25K worth of limits on your cards, but your balances are at $20,000. So you're looking at this $20,000 number and you're saying, wow, that's a crooked number. That's a crooked number. What am I going to do to get out of this? All right, cool. Now at least you know your starting point. You got to pay that 20,000 down before you could buy a house. Now, the other aspect of the credit report is showing you that you've got late payments. Let's just say, I don't know, you hit a rough patch. You hit a period of time where you weren't able to make your payments on time, and you got a couple 30-day lates. Maybe you got a 60-day late. Maybe you have like one of these old, I don't know, maybe you've got like a T-Mobile bill or like an old, $200 doctor bill or something. All right, now you know that you have to attack those and try to get them off your credit report. Okay. Now, I learned something recently that if you have something in collections, let's just say from 2, 3 years ago, it might not be the smartest thing for you to go ahead and pay that down right now, because what it does is it resets the clock. And now all of a sudden you are starting with a new 7-year period before it gets removed. So what I would say is, before you pay off a collection account that you have on your card or on your credit report, just wait a minute, pump the brakes, and speak to somebody who is knowledgeable about this and how to handle that. But let's put the collection account to the side. you've got a couple 30-day lates, a couple 60-day lates. There's companies out there, and we've had an expert on our show. Her name is Micah Smith. And happy birthday, Micah. First of all, I believe today is your birthday. I saw it on Facebook. So happy birthday to you. But her job is there. Her company is built to help remove those 30-day notices. I don't want to get in the weeds too much about how she does her job because she's explained it when she was on the show. But you can get those 30 days and those 60 days knocked off by hiring a company. Now, you'll probably start with, let's just say you've got 10 30-day notices, 10 30-day lates, a couple 60-day lates. Over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, her company, if you hire them, will start knocking those off. And immediately when you knock those off, your credit starts going up. Now, simultaneously, what you're doing is you're paying down your cards, right? I'm a big fan of using the snowball effect. And basically, there's two ways to look at it, right? You can attack the card that has the biggest interest rate because that might be choking you, or you could start with the smallest account. Let's just say you got one card that is a $300 balance, another one that's a $1,000 balance, another one that's a $2,000 balance. Start with paying off the $300 card, then move on to the 1,000, then move on to the higher balances as you go on. But now what you've done is you've put up on a board the problems regarding your credit score, and you've made a plan and you've figured out how you're going to knock it down, right? You're going to hire a company to help remove the 30-day notices. You're going to start paying down these balances, and your strategy is to focus on the smaller ones first and then knock those down as they come. All right. So now that we have the plan for the credit aspect of the buying a home, now let's talk about the down payment. Christian, who is an expert at this, is able to help you determine if you qualify for any sort of down payment assistance. And there's a ton of programs out there. The problem is that a lot of you are not actually trying to learn about these programs and what you need to do to qualify. So my suggestion would be is, again, on a whiteboard, write down in big white letters, in big black letters, whatever it is, down payment. Okay. And then talk to somebody, talk to Christian, go online and look to see what programs are out there and see what you can qualify for. And beyond that, what you could do is maybe you're in a job that you don't get a yearly bonus, or maybe your bills are just so high that you're literally living check to check. Okay. I'm going to throw this out there, and I know some of you might think I'm crazy, but like, now's the time. If you really want to make the dream of becoming a homeowner a reality, you have to figure out a way to raise your income. Maybe start a second job, maybe start a side hustle, maybe start something that you could bring in extra revenue that you could start putting towards that down payment. Okay. It's a very unpopular opinion. And I know a lot of people are out there that are saying, look, Steve, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the willpower to start a second job or figure out a secondary stream of income. Then you're never going to make your dream come true. It's just as plain and simple as that. You have to figure out a way that you can go out there and make whatever it is that you want to have happen. Okay. And if you don't do that, then you're just never going to accomplish your dreams. And you're just going to go through life, not building any equity in real estate and not building any sort of wealth in real estate for your kids. Think about this. Children that grow up in a home where their parents own the home, they don't rent, they're homeowners, have a significantly higher probability rate of going to college and becoming homeowners themselves. And that's all on you. If you're the parent in the household and you need to figure out a way to set your kids up, buy a house, buy real estate, that equity there, even if it's a co-op apartment for $200,000, whatever it may be. And again, here in New York, I throw around a number like 200K, like it's the bottom sort of threshold, but that same 200K across in other areas of the country could get you a big house. So maybe that's another thing you have to think about. Do I want to move maybe out of New York? Do I want to move to a place where I can actually afford to buy something, where they have a lot of land? Maybe you want to go to upstate New York. Maybe you want to go, deep out in Connecticut. Then you're going to come back to me and you're going to say, well, wait a second, how am I going to find work out there? Well, this goes back to the idea of building that secondary stream of income. So I say all this to say that whatever barrier, whatever objection you're going to give me and tell me that you're not able to buy a home, I'm going to give you some sort of an answer and some sort of way to get there. Now, I think I'm having some technical difficulties because I might be on the wrong. Give me 1 second here.